The evening fog lay thick over Baker Street, curling along the gas lamps as if reluctant to disperse. Holmes sat in his familiar armchair, violin in hand, bowing absent-mindedly over the strings, eyes fixed upon some distant point in the haze of thought. I, meanwhile, was attempting to decipher the latest issue of the Times, though my mind wandered far more to the matter which had drawn him from the sanctity of his violin, a letter of urgent appeal, penned in a hand trembling with fear.
Watson, you must observe. The rhythm of his script betrays a man of education and a temper easily perturbed. Note the slight irregularity in the spacing. It is as though he hesitated at intervals, struck by doubt, elementary yet revealing.
I leaned closer, scrutinizing the paper. I see, I murmured, but what can it tell us beyond the obvious anxiety of the writer?
Anxiety is a key, my dear Watson. It opens the mind to subtle truths, truths that escape the casual eye. Observe the pressure on the pen. It is heavier in certain places, indicating heightened emotion. Ha! And note the ink blot near the signature, a sign of trembling, a sign of fear. The man who wrote this is desperate.
And Wisteria Lodge? I inquired, still attempting to grasp the situation as Holmes perceived it. I confess, the name is unfamiliar to me.
Wisteria Lodge is more than a name. It is a locus of intrigue. The letter describes events so disturbing that they border upon the uncanny. One does not solicit a detective without cause. We shall leave nothing to chance.
Oh, the moment I read the contents, a chill crept down my spine. The writer, a wealthy gentleman named John Henderson, detailed a series of alarming disturbances in his estate, voices heard in empty corridors, strange lights flickering behind closed windows, and a sudden disappearance of a man employed under mysterious circumstances.
You see, Watson, the facts themselves are of little value without interpretation. One must construct a theory, then test it against reality. Henderson's account, though seemingly sensational, bears markers of a rational anomaly, a series of logical contradictions that hint at human rather than supernatural agency.
I nodded, still absorbing the eerie narrative. Holmes, do you truly believe that every peculiarity has a rational explanation?
Every peculiarity, Watson. Nature is consistent, though human folly often masquerades as the inexplicable. Take this letter as a specimen. The mention of footsteps in the gallery, yet no footprints found. Simple trickery or deliberate misdirection. Elementary. Hmm.
Our carriage rattled over cobblestones as we departed Baker Street the next morning. The mist clinging to the lamps and the corners of the street, Holmes sat quietly, his eyes scanning the world outside, noting each detail with precision.
Observe the houses, Watson. Note the chimneys. Their soot patterns indicate recent fires, yet the coal usage is inconsistent with household needs. There is something hidden here, perhaps in plain sight.
I scribbled his observations in my notebook, though the logic eluded me in part. Holmes had an uncanny ability to perceive significance in minutiae, which I, despite years at his side, struggled to comprehend.
And see here, Watson, do you notice the neighboring property? Sign of recent disturbance near the garden wall. Whoo! Footprints of two distinct sizes, yet only one person resides there. It will be instructive to compare these with Henderson's description.
As the carriage approached Wisteria Lodge, a sprawling estate of Victorian grandeur nestled among wisteria-clad walls, a sense of foreboding settled upon me. The gates creaked under our touch, the gravel crunching beneath our boots, a sound that seemed too loud in the enveloping silence.
The architecture itself is revealing, Watson. Note the asymmetry of the rear wing. It suggests an addition made without architectural counsel, perhaps hurriedly. Such haste often coincides with concealment, either of evidence or intention.
The estate steward, a nervous man named James, greeted us at the door. "Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson," he stammered, glancing nervously over his shoulder. "Sir Henderson is awaiting you."
Ah, James. Tell me, Watson, what do you observe about him?
"His hands are trembling," I noted. and his eyes flicker from shadow to shadow as though anticipating a threat.
Precisely. The man is loyal, yet terrified. His fear may be genuine or cultivated. Nevertheless, it is a window into the household's current state.
Inside the drawing room, Henderson awaited us, seated stiffly on an armchair of dark mahogany. He was a man of tall stature, though his shoulders bore the weight of sleepless nights.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I am at my wits' end. Strange occurrences plague Wisteria Lodge. My staff whisper of shadows moving unaided, and the gentleman in my employ has vanished without trace.
Sit, Mr. Henderson. Let us dissect the elements. When did the disturbances commence, and who might have had motive to exploit the estate?
It began 6 weeks past. My late friend Mr. Holder, who resided here, vanished first. Then the disturbances, voices, lights, the sense of being watched, intensified. I suspect a connection, yet logic eludes me.
Holmes listened intently, eyes narrowing, fingertips steepled under his chin. And the staff, he asked, are they consistent in their accounts?
Most claim innocence, but fear clouds judgment. Some whisper that my late friend's disappearance was not natural. I fear a crime is at work, yet I cannot comprehend its nature.
Elementary, my dear Henderson. Fear has clouded the narrative, yet the pattern is discernible. Watson, note the mention of disappearance preceding disturbances. Timing is crucial. It indicates motive and opportunity, often overlooked by the untrained mind.
I took careful notes, determined to grasp Holmes's method. And the staff, Holmes, how do you propose we proceed?
Observation first, Watson. Speak with each member individually, noting inconsistencies, tone, and hesitation. A falsehood, however artful, leaves traces. The theory of deduction is our instrument.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson. I am Mrs. Sutherland, the housekeeper. I shall answer all questions, though I fear what my words may reveal.
Mrs. Sutherland, tell us of the lights in the upper hall. When did you first observe them, and what was the pattern of movement?
It began just after dusk, sir. I thought it candles, yet they moved, flickered oddly, as if guided by some invisible hand. I dared not investigate alone.
Interesting. Note, Watson, the subtle distinction. She attributes movement to an external agency. Fear colors, perception, yet fact remains that motion occurred, human or otherwise.
I nodded, attempting to grasp Holmes's insight. Each word, each hesitation seemed to unfold a layer of the mystery.
We shall visit the gallery, Watson. Watson, observe shadows, measure angles of illumination, inspect for concealed entrances. Logic, observation, and deduction shall illuminate the truth where fear clouds it.
As we ascended the staircase, the air grew cooler, the shadows deeper, and a sense of unease palpable. I realized that Wisteria Lodge was no ordinary residence. It was a theater of fear, and we had entered the stage.
Fear is an instrument, Watson, and we shall tune it carefully. Shadows may deceive, yet the human heart betrays all secrets. Step lightly and observe closely. Every detail is a note in the symphony of truth.
Holmes's voice, calm and unwavering, lent courage to the tense silence. I followed, eager to learn, and yet acutely aware that the adventure of Wisteria Lodge had only just begun.
Remember, Watson, elementary though it seems, the simplest fact, overlooked, can unravel the entire deception. Here begins the path to revelation. Every creaking floorboard, every whisper, a clue in the mosaic of reason.
And so, with hearts both anxious and resolute, we stepped further into the enigma of Wisteria Lodge, where the shadows promised not only mystery but danger, and where Holmes's deductive brilliance would soon shine light into the darkest corners. The morning sun had scarcely pierced the wisteria-draped windows when Holmes and I began our methodical exploration of Wisteria Lodge. The house, though elegant, Wembley is elegant, but the carried a pall of unease. Its walls seemed to whisper secrets we were to uncover. I kept close to Holmes, recording his every observation with the diligence of a student determined not to miss even the smallest detail.
Watson, Notice the floorboards here in the gallery. They are slightly raised near the eastern wall. Step upon them gently. Yes, a hollow sound. There is concealment beneath. Most would overlook this entirely, but to the trained ear, even the softest echo tells a story.
I tread carefully, my boots muffled by the thick carpet, and noted the subtle depression Holmes indicated. A hidden compartment, perhaps? I ventured.
Fireman, precisely, Watson. And see how the dust is uneven? And wait, it betrays the fact that it is frequently accessed, yet never openly. Whoever uses it is cautious, aware of the eyes of others, yet careless in the minutiae of habit. Elementary.
Pardon me, sirs. I did not mean to intrude, but I thought I might assist. Plan, my name is Lily, and I have served here for several years. I can tell you where the rooms are most often accessed, though I fear I may be of little help with your inquiries, as there is.
On the contrary, Lily, your observations are invaluable. Tell us which rooms have been subject to unusual activity and at what times.
The gallery and Mr. Henderson's study, sir. Most nights, shortly after dusk, strange lights appear in the gallery, and sometimes doors that were securely fastened are found ajar. It frightens the servants, though none admit to witnessing the cause.
Note, Watson, the specificity of time and place. Fear often generalizes. Precise recollection indicates direct observation or attention to detail. The pattern begins to emerge.
I made careful notes, trying to see through Holmes' eyes. And these lights, Holmes, do they seem natural?
A keen question. Observe, Watson. Light can be manipulated with mirrors, small lanterns, or even chemical reactions. But the point is motive. Who benefits from fear? And what do they hope to conceal?
Gentlemen, I fear you will think me foolish, but last night I heard a voice calling from the gallery. It was faint, yet unmistakably human. No one answered. When I followed it,
A voice, you say? Let us test this claim. Watson, we must inspect the gallery thoroughly. Listen for echoes, note acoustics, and be wary of tricks. A careful ear distinguishes natural sound from artificial projection.
The gallery stretched before us, grand and elongated, with portraits of ancestors watching solemnly from the walls. Holmes walked ahead, eyes narrowed, his fingers tracing the edges of furniture, brushing over drapes as though reading invisible lines of text in the air.
Footsteps, Watson. Do you hear them? Not mine, but those faint impressions in the carpet and dust. See how they are inconsistent in depth. Someone walks cautiously, yet with urgency. The visitor is aware of being observed.
How? I nodded, noting the subtle indentations. And yet, I said, the carpet is undisturbed by recent passage elsewhere. It must have been someone familiar with the layout.
Correct. Further, observe the paintings. The chain suspending the portrait of Lady Henderson is loose. A window may have been used to access it, though the lock shows no tampering. We are approaching the truth through elimination, Watson.
Sir, there is also the attic. Strange sounds come from there, mostly at night. Let's none dare investigate. Some of the children claim to have seen shadows moving behind the slatted windows.
Shadows are frequently a guise for human presence, Watson. But note, the consistency of reports from multiple witnesses suggests more than imagination. It is worth inspection.
Climbing the narrow staircase to the attic, the air grew cooler, and dust motes danced in the sunlight that managed to penetrate the small windows. Holmes's gaze swept the room like a predatory bird, noting the slightest imperfection.
Observe, Watson, the floor here. Scuffs, abrasions, and indentations betray recent heavy movement. Yet no ordinary furniture could create such marks. They speak of clandestine activity.
I traced the marks with my eyes. Holmes, it seems as though someone has moved large objects in haste, perhaps a chest, or something as entirely.
Precisely. But note the directionality of the scuffs. In and out, in and out. Someone uses this space as a temporary hideaway. We must investigate further. for hidden compartments or exits.
Sir Holmes, there is a trapdoor behind the old linen closet. It is hidden, and I never dared open it.
Excellent, Watson. Human error and curiosity reveal more than brute force. Let us see what lies beneath.
We lifted the trapdoor carefully, revealing a narrow, dust-choked stairway descending into darkness. Udiciam. The scent of damp wood and mildew filled the air. Holmes held a candle aloft, his expression betraying both anticipation and a quiet thrill.
The descent, Watson, is as revealing as the destination. Observe the wear on the steps. Uneven use indicates a preferred path. Someone is careful, yet routine creates predictable traces.
My heart pounded as we reached the bottom. The chamber was small, lined with shelves containing oddities, jars of preserved specimens, scattered books of obscure reference, and a single, well-used chair facing a small table.
Ah, the study of a meticulous mind, Watson. See the arrangement of objects, not chaotic but deliberate. A pattern exists, and from patterns one can reconstruct the occupant's habits and, possibly, intentions.
Among the books, one fell open of its own accord, revealing a passage marked in the margins, written in a hand both careful and urgent. "What is this?" I asked. "Ha ha!"
A clue, Watson, and one we must not dismiss. The handwriting matches that of the missing man's letters, Mr. Holder's notes. He intended to document something, perhaps a secret that endangered him.
Holmes's eyes gleamed with the satisfaction of a puzzle beginning to yield its secrets. "We are closing in," he said. "Yet caution, Watson, is paramount. Those who fear discovery are capable of desperate measures. Past."
Gentlemen, I pray you find answers. Each night, the estate grows more unnerving. Shadows linger, voices murmur, and I feel my own sanity fraying.
Fear can distort perception, Henderson, but we shall pierce the veil of uncertainty. Observe, Watson. Emotional response, while intense, is a lens through which fact can be discerned if analyzed carefully.
I took a deep breath, penning Holmes' words with reverence. To learn deduction was one thing. To see it applied with such precision was another entirely.
Now, Watson, we prepare for a further interview with the household staff. Cross-examination, careful observation, and discreet questioning will reveal contradictions and ultimately the hidden hand behind these disturbances.
I shall answer all your queries, sirs, though I hope my words are of aid. The household is weary, and secrets long kept cannot endure indefinitely.
Begin, Mrs. Sutherland, with the nights preceding Mr. Holder's disappearance. Who was present, and who left the estate after dusk?
The butler, Mr. Roper, left for London several times. The cook often tended the kitchen long into the night. Some nights, the grounds were quiet. Others, voices were heard near the stables.
Note the discrepancies, Watson. Different times, different actors. Yet fear links all accounts. We shall corroborate each statement with physical evidence.
As Holmes cross-examined, I realized the depth of his method. He did not merely listen, he dissected each word, weighing intention, phrasing, and hesitation. Every syllable became a potential clue.
Tomorrow, Watson, we shall inspect the grounds, including the stables and hidden paths. The key to this mystery lies not merely in the house, but in the estate's entirety. Every object, every movement, every shadow, essential.
And so, as twilight fell over Wisteria Lodge, I felt the tension of anticipation mingled with the thrill of discovery. Holmes had begun to unravel the threads of mystery, and I, ever his devoted chronicler, was privileged to witness the birth of revelation.
Remember, Watson, in the theater of human behavior, fear is the director, and we are the audience interpreting its scenes. The truth, though hidden, will emerge if we remain patient and observant.
With that, we retired for the evening, our minds alight with conjecture and deduction, unaware that the shadows we sought to illuminate would soon reach out to test both our courage and our intellect. The following morning, a dense fog hung low over Wisteria Lodge. Ha ha ha! Curling around the wisteria-laden walls like a silent sentinel, Holmes, as ever, was awake before dawn, meticulously arranging his notes and diagrams, his mind already racing through a labyrinth of deductions. I observed him quietly, attempting to absorb the precise methods of his brilliant reasoning.
Watson, note the sequence of events over the past fortnight. Disappearances, lights, sounds all follow a pattern that reflects human intervention rather than supernatural activity. Fear distorts memory, but patterns endure.
I nodded, carefully copying his diagram. Lines connecting occurrences, staff, and timings resembled an intricate web, yet each strand was deliberate, coherent, and, in Holmes's hands, intelligible.
Consider also, Watson, the discrepancies in testimony. Mrs. Oh, Sutherland claims to have seen shadows moving along the corridor, yet Lily recalls a lantern carried by a figure cloaked in dark garments. These two accounts are compatible if viewed through the lens of deception, not imagination.
So, you believe the disturbances are orchestrated? I asked. Holmes's eyes gleamed, a mixture of excitement and certainty.
Of course, Watson, nature rarely indulges in theatrics. The simplest explanation, the one that accounts for motive and opportunity, is the correct one. Here, someone aims to frighten the household for purposes unknown, perhaps to conceal crime or manipulate.
Gentlemen, if I may, last night the study door was again found ajar. Nothing was taken, yet papers were shuffled. I cannot explain it.
Precisely as I suspected. Note, Watson, the selective disturbance. The intruder seeks information, perhaps correspondence or documents, rather than mere theft. Pattern of intrusion reflects purpose.
Holmes and I made our way to the study. The air carried the faint scent of ink and aged paper, and the moonlight, spilling through tall windows, illuminated the disorder with ghostly clarity.
Examine the papers, Watson. Note which documents have been disturbed. See the faint smudges of dust on the edges? This indicates the hands of someone careful, experienced in handling documents without leaving obvious trace.
I scrutinized each sheet, noting the slight displacement of letters, the gentle curl of edges. Holmes, these signs are subtle yet unmistakable, I said.
Indeed, Watson. And now observe the marginalia. Notes made in haste, a hand slightly different from the main text. This tells us that the writer, likely Mr. Honda, feared someone was observing and recorded his thoughts in secret.
I leaned over the desk, feeling the weight of unseen eyes. Holmes, the meticulousness of this individual is remarkable, yet fear appears to have compelled him to errors, traces of which we now follow.
Precisely. Fear is the unintentional accomplice of truth. Now, Watson, we shall consider the motives. Who benefits from these disturbances and who possesses the skill to execute them with such precision?
The question hung in the air as we descended the staircase to the grounds. The estate, shrouded in morning mist, offered a labyrinth of possibilities: stables, servants' quarters, and the hidden trapdoor in the gallery that led to Mr. Starr, Holder's clandestine chamber.
Observe, Watson, the garden paths. Footprints here are old, yet the impressions on the gravel indicate recent movement along specific lines. These align with entrances and exits of the house. Someone familiar with the estate navigates it confidently, leaving minimal trace.
I followed Holmes' gaze. And the gates, I inquired, would anyone coming from the main road leave signs we might detect?
Without doubt. As doubt. The disturbed gravel, slight bending of branches, and impressions in the soil all serve as indicators. A careful eye distinguishes natural irregularities from human passage. Elementary, Watson.
Sir Holmes, I fear you will find this strange. Last night I saw a light in the stables. I thought it a lantern, yet it moved erratically, as if following someone. I dared not approach.
Exactly as I suspected. Erratic motion indicates human activity cloaked in disguise. The intruder manipulates perception, deliberate, controlled deception to provoke fear.
We approached the stables, where a smell of hay and damp wood mingled in the cool morning air. Holmes' eyes scanned every corner, noting the slight displacement of straw and footprints partially obscured by recent grooming of the animals.
See here, Watson. The footprints are layered, suggesting at least two individuals. One smaller, one larger, yet only one staff member has regular access. This discrepancy points to an intruder unknown to the household.
I knelt to examine the prints. Holmes, the smaller prints are light and hurried, while the larger ones seem deliberate, almost protective of the smaller companion. Could this indicate a master, an accomplice?
Precisely, Watson. Observe the alignment. The larger footprints flank the smaller, as though guiding, controlling, or shielding. Human behavior leaves such subconscious traces, revealing intention as surely as words betray lies.
Gentlemen, I fear we may be uncovering more than mischief. What if Mr. C. Holder's disappearance is linked to someone within these very walls?
Anderson, fear is instructive but can mislead. Observe the evidence, not conjecture. Aim, motive, and opportunity guide deduction. The intruder is cautious, yet desperate, intelligent, yet fallible.
Holmes's methodical examination continued, leading us back into the house to inspect hidden compartments and unusual fixtures. The gallery, with its hollow floorboards, seemed the central stage in this drama.
The hollow boards, Watson, indicate repeated access. Dust patterns are inconsistent. Someone steps carefully to avoid detection. The intruder's path is deliberate, yet habitual actions leave unintentional evidence.
I traced Holmes' observations, noting each subtle imperfection, slight scratches in the wood, the faint residue of candle soot, and the bending of a curtain to mask movement.
Sir Holmes, I must add, last night I heard whispering from the secret chamber. It was faint, hurried, and ceased the moment I entered the corridor.
Yes, Watson, fearful as she is, Mrs.Sutherland's observation confirms our theory. The intruder uses misdirection, shadows, and sound to manipulate perception, yet their pattern is detectable under scrutiny.
Holmes's eyes gleamed with the thrill of intellectual pursuit. We are close, Holmes, I said. Can we deduce the identity?
Not yet, Watson. Observe first, reason second. The identity will reveal itself once the motives and opportunities are fully aligned. One misstep, one unobserved detail, and the pattern collapses. We must be patient.
We then convened with the staff once more, questioning each carefully and noting every contradiction. Slowly, a tapestry emerged, the missing man, the disturbances, the shadowy movements, all orchestrated to conceal a central secret within Wisteria Lodge.
Watson, every falsehood is a signpost. Each carefully fabricated story leaves a residue. The intruder's intelligence is evident, yet humans cannot entirely escape the weight of habit and error. We shall follow these clues to their source.
By nightfall, the estate felt smaller, as though Holmes's presence illuminated corners previously shrouded in mystery. Shadows were no longer mere specters, and fear, once a cloak, had become a key to understanding.
Remember, Watson, observation alone is incomplete. One must also interpret behavior, motive, and circumstance. Only then does deduction provide clarity. Wisteria Lodge is a stage, and we now begin to see the script hidden beneath the fear.
And so, the day ended not with answers, but with a clear direction. The invisible hand manipulating the household was still at work. Yet every trace, however subtle, was leading us toward revelation. In the quiet of the night, I could only marvel at Holmes's genius and the intricate dance of deduction that would soon unveil the truth. The morning air carried a crisp chill as Holmes and I set out once more across the grounds of Wisteria Lodge. The sun had not yet risen, and the mist clung to the wisteria vines like a diaphanous curtain. Holmes walked ahead, eyes scanning every detail, his mind working at a pace that seemed almost supernatural. I struggled to keep up, notebook in hand, intent on recording his deductions for posterity.
Watson, observe the hedges along the northern boundary. Note the subtle breaks in the foliage. These are not random. They indicate a concealed path, likely used under cover of darkness. The intruder's habit becomes apparent here.
I peered closely. Indeed, the branches bore evidence of repeated passage, leaves bent back, small twigs snapped. A secret route, I murmured, leading directly toward the rear of the house?
Precisely. Such a path suggests familiarity with the estate and careful planning. Elementary, Watson. Fear cannot entirely obscure routine.
Sir Holmes, Sir Watson, I'm worried about the cellar. Last night, I heard banging from below, as though someone was moving barrels or boxes. I did not dare investigate.
Excellent observation, Lily. Every sound is a clue. The cellar, often overlooked, may serve as a point of entry or concealment. We shall examine it carefully.
We descended into the dark, musty cellar, the smell of damp earth and rotting wood filling the air. Holmes moved with a deliberate caution, inspecting every corner with the precision of a surgeon examining tissue.
Note, Watson, the disturbed dust along the floor. Here, someone has placed their hands to steady themselves. Footprints suggest a figure of average height, yet the depth of the impressions indicates a man of considerable weight.
And yet, I noted, no footprints lead to the trapdoor at the rear.
A keen observation. This suggests access through another entrance, perhaps concealed entirely. The absence of trace is as telling as its presence.
Gentlemen, forgive my anxiety, but I am beginning to fear that Mr. Holder's fate may be linked directly to some presence still within these walls.
Fear is instructive, Henderson, though it must not cloud judgment. Observe, Watson. Henderson's anxiety tells us he is aware, subconsciously, of where danger lies. We must act methodically.
Holmes's eyes swept the cellar, pausing on a section of wall that seemed unremarkable to me. What do you notice here? He asked.
The brickwork is inconsistent, different color, slightly misaligned. This is often indicative of a concealed compartment. Elementary, Watson.
We pressed along the brick, and with a faint push, a small door swung open, revealing a narrow passage. The air within was stale, carrying a faint metallic tang as though the space had been used recently.
Precisely as anticipated. The passage likely connects to the gallery and the hidden chamber above. Such design facilitates surreptitious movement, yet leaves enough trace for careful observation.
I entered the passage cautiously, the walls damp against my palms. Holmes led the way, candle held high, illuminating the way forward. I cannot help but feel we are close, I whispered.
Weak am a mate behundo. The ha. Only now do the motives become evident. As tough, observe how fear has been engineered, an elaborate ruse to cover theft or concealment.
Sir Holmes, Sir Watson, I must confess something. The night Mr. Holder disappeared, I saw a shadow pass the window of the rear wing. It was moving deliberately, as if searching for something.
Yes, Mrs.Sutherland. And now we can confirm the shadow, the lights, the disturbances. They are all connected to Mr. Holder's movements and his concealed documents.
We reached the end of the passage, a small chamber hidden beneath the house. Inside lay papers scattered across a table, jars of strange substances, and a chair overturned as though in a sudden struggle.
Elementary, Watson. Mr. Holder attempted to conceal important documents. Someone discovered this, forced entry, and removed him or coerced him into silence. Note the overturning of the chair. It is not casual.
The implication struck me. Holmes, if Holder was taken or forced into hiding, then we are dealing with a criminal of considerable cunning.
Indeed, Watson, yet even cunning leaves traces. Observe the floorboards, the dust, the subtle scuff marks. Our unknown adversary, though meticulous, cannot erase every sign of human activity.
Sir, there is also the matter of the stables. I saw lanterns moving there during nights of disturbance. Perhaps the cellar is connected to them?
Exactly, Watson. Follow the logic. If the intruder requires stealth, access to multiple points, including the cellar, the hidden passage, and the stables, is essential. This confirms our theory of a coordinated plan.
Cried Luman, We returned above ground, making our way toward the stables. The morning sun had begun to pierce the mist, casting long shadows over the gravel paths. Holmes moved with purpose, his eyes missing nothing.
Observe the ground here, Watson. Footprints overlap, smaller prints sheltered by larger. Two individuals, collaborating, yet one directing the other. Their movements, though cautious, betray hierarchy.
I knelt to examine the prints. Holmes, could it be a master and accomplice?
Precisely. And one is careful, the other fearful. This duality is crucial to understanding the intruder's psychology and the nature of their crime.
Gentlemen, I must admit the reality is more dreadful than my imagination. Could Mr. Holder still be alive?
That is our task, to determine, observe, Watson, the alignment of evidence, intruder movements, hidden passages, and concealed documents. The sequence suggests coercion rather than elimination. Holder is likely held, perhaps nearby.
Holmes' brilliance was evident as he cross referenced every clue. We are closing in, Holmes. I can feel it, I said, my pulse quickening.
Yes, Watson, but caution is essential. Our intruder is intelligent and desperate. One false move could alert him, endangering Mr. Holder and ourselves.
Sir, may I add, the family jewels were removed from the cabinet recently. I thought it was theft, yet nothing else seems disturbed.
Precisely, Mrs. Sutherland. The theft is purposeful, not random. Our intruder has a dual goal: concealment of Holder and acquisition of valuables. Observe how fear has masked both crimes.
We spent the rest of the day meticulously charting the estate, tracing paths, noting shadows, and revisiting every suspicious detail. By nightfall, the picture had become clear. Mr. Holder's disappearance, the disturbances, and the hidden movements of the intruder were all connected in a deliberate, cunning design.
Watson, remember this. In every mystery, fear obscures truth, but reason uncovers it. Wisteria Lodge is no longer merely a house of shadows. It is a stage upon which the criminal has acted, leaving traces that, though subtle, are sufficient for a trained eye.
And as darkness fell, I felt the anticipation of revelation. The intruder's identity was still unknown, yet Holmes' analysis had narrowed the possibilities. Course, the game was set, and the final confrontation loomed near, promising both danger and discovery. The night was heavy with anticipation, as Holmes and I readied ourselves for what we both sensed would be the climax of our investigation. Wisteria Lodge, bathed in the silvery light of the full moon, seemed almost alive, its shadows deepening, stretching across the gravel paths, and curling around the wisteria vines as if conspiring to conceal the truth.
Watson, every observation we have made points to the cellar and hidden passages as the locus of Mr. Holder's disappearance. Our task now is to confront the intruder. Carefully, we must anticipate their next move, for desperation often drives cunning men to rash action.
I gripped my notebook and a small lantern, my pulse quickened by both fear and exhilaration. Holmes' calm confidence was steadying. Lead the way, Holmes, I said.
Observe, Watson, the footprints along the garden path. They begin near the stables and veer toward the northern boundary. The intruder is bold tonight, perhaps believing no one is watching.
Sir Holmes, Sir Watson, I fear for you. I glimpsed a figure moving in the gallery just now. He vanished before I could call.
Excellent, Lily. This confirms our theory. The intruder operates under cover of night, using shadows and passages to evade detection. But tonight, he has miscalculated.
As we approached the gallery, Holmes paused, his keen eyes scanning every shadow, every corner, as though reading a hidden script. The floorboards, faintly hollow in places, revealed the familiar marks of repeated clandestine movement.
The intruder believes himself unseen. Notice the slight bend of the curtain near the northern window. He passed there moments ago. Our advantage lies in observation and anticipation.
A faint metallic glint caught my eye on the gallery table. Holmes' expression hardened. "Oh, evidence, Watson," he murmured, "and a warning."
The glint is a key, not merely symbolic, but functional. It will open a door to the truth. Our intruder left it unconsciously, a signpost to his intent. Elementary, Watson. I'll Noben.
Gentlemen, I fear the worst. If my friend Holder is harmed, nothing else will matter.
Fear, Henderson, while human can mislead. Observation and deduction must guide our actions. Prepare yourself. We move to the cellar.
Descending the staircase, the air grew thick and damp. Holmes led, candle aloft, illuminating the hidden passage we had discovered earlier. Right. The smell of mildew was stronger here, mingling with the faint metallic tang we had noted previously.
Watson, note the floor. Fresh scuff marks indicate movement within the last hour. The intruder is still nearby, perhaps unaware that we are closing in.
I advanced cautiously, every nerve alert. Holmes, what if we encounter resistance?
Then we adapt, Watson. Strategy must outwit force. Observation has given us knowledge. Now it grants us power.
Who's there? Show yourself.
We step forward, hands visible. Watson at my side. You have been observed for some time. The game is over. There is no further need for deception.
Captain Dada emerged from the shadows, a man tall, lean, with eyes sharp and calculating. His face, though partially obscured, bore the signs of sleepless nights and frantic scheming.
Holmes, how did you...
Elementary, my dear sir. You, my dear sir. Your footprints, your handling of the lanterns, even the bend of the curtains, all betray you. And now, the question of Mr. Holder's location.
He is safe. I swear it. But I had to ensure the documents did not fall into the wrong hands.
Holmes' eyes narrowed, piercing the intruder's carefully constructed story. This way, yet your methods involve fear, deception, and concealment. Explain why the disturbances, the lights, the shadows.
I only wish to protect my employer's secrets. The letters, the ledgers, they contained sensitive information. I feared theft and dishonor. I never intended harm.
Fear, my good man, does not justify subterfuge. The law must be upheld. Yet your motives illuminate the human frailty behind these events. Mr. Holder, you will find, was hidden but unharmed.
At Holmes's direction, we led the intruder through the hidden passages to the secret chamber by acting there, where Mr. Holder sat, tense but physically unharmed. Relief washed over me, though the tension in the air remained thick.
Holmes, you found me. I feared it would be too late.
Your fear was a guide, Holder, and your captor's methods left clues for the observant. Watson, note, all deception carries markers, however subtle, which reason can detect.
I watched, awed once again, as Holmes orchestrated the resolution. The intruder was restrained, explanations were recorded, and the estate staff gathered to witness the outcome.
Sir Holmes, Sir Watson, it is all over. The shadows, the disturbances, the fears.
Indeed, Mrs. Sutherland, the shadows are dispelled and the truth restored. Elementary, Watson, the law will now handle the matter, and the estate may return to peace.
As dawn broke over Wisteria Lodge, the mist lifting to reveal the serene gardens and stately house, I reflected on the intricacy of the adventure. Holmes's deductive brilliance had penetrated the veil of fear and deception, revealing the human motives behind the unsettling events.
Watson, every case teaches a lesson. Observe carefully, record precisely, and reason without prejudice. The simplest truths are often hidden beneath layers of misdirection, yet always accessible to patient scrutiny.
I felt a profound respect for Holmes' method, a mixture of awe and humility. The events at Wisteria Lodge had tested courage, intellect, and perception, and once again, Holmes's genius had prevailed.
Gentlemen, I am forever grateful. You have returned order to my household and safety to my friend. Words cannot express my thanks.
Your gratitude is noted, Henderson, but the true reward is the exercise of reason and the restoration of justice.
And so, as Holmes and I departed Wisteria Lodge, the sun rising over the estate in warm golden hues, I felt the satisfaction of having witnessed another triumph of intellect over fear, observation over deception, and deduction over chaos.
Remember, Watson, the world is full of mysteries. Yet none are beyond the reach of careful observation and reason. Every shadow can be illuminated, every fear rationalized, and every secret revealed, if one applies the mind diligently.
And as we returned to Baker Street, the memories of Wisteria Lodge lingered, its hidden passages, its shadowy corners, and the subtle signs that had guided us to the truth. Once more, I marveled at the genius of my friend and mentor, Sherlock Holmes, whose methods transformed the perplexing into the plainly comprehensible, and whose courage transforms fear into understanding.